Welcome to Combative Wing Chun. I'm Sifu David. Today we're going to show you Wing Chun versus boxing punching. We're going to show you the difference between boxing punching and Wing Chun punching. And it's not what you think. So let's get started. Let's start with boxing punching. Now, most people are familiar with boxing punching. Very popular is what? The 1-2, right? Jab cross, right? Okay. So, what's the main difference between this and Wing Chun? Well, number one is the stance. Most of the time, if you go to boxing class, this is the stance they're going to teach you. All right, you have your weight slightly forward. All right, you have your hands up, in the guard position. All right, you have your chin tucked in. You have the back foot. You can see my back foot is on the toe or on the ball of the foot, so that I can rotate. Okay, so boxing punch will go straight like this. And another characteristic of the boxing punch, most people are punching with a horizontal fist. All right, horizontal fist, horizontal fist. All right, so where a jab is going to be straight out like this. Okay, or sometimes with a step, like that. That's a jab. Okay, so notice what I'm doing. I'm stepping into the punch, and then when I land my foot on the ground, that's when I want to land the punch. All right, and what you also see is that most of the time, I hide my chin behind my shoulder so that it blocks an attack when I'm punching a jab. Okay, very effective. Jab is very useful. Okay, okay, across. Let's hold it out here for a sec. Cross. Here's like that. So same thing. I'm using rotation of my body, of my hips, of my shoulders to generate power. Okay. All right. It is a longer reach. I'm using the full extension of my arm. The full extension of my arm, okay? And there's also a slight rotation, a little bit more advanced for you guys who've done a lot of boxing, probably know about the rotation. So when I'm punching, at the end, I snap it as a rotation, okay? So it adds a little more power, right? Like that, okay? Adds a little bit of rotation at the end. Okay, so that's boxing punching. You're very familiar with it. You see it all the time. All right, so now we know what it is, the characteristics of it. So let's move on to Wing Chun punching. All right, Wing Chun punching is often misunderstood because a lot of people just don't know how the body mechanics work. Because if you've been doing a lot of boxing punching, but you're using rotational force, all right, you probably won't be able to use rotational force in a Wing Chun punch. At least if you want to do it the traditional way. Okay, so in Wing Chun, what we want to use is we'll use spring force. I showed you in the other video how to increase punching power part 2, the difference between rotational force and spring force. So you want to learn about that, go to that video. But here I'm just going to show you very quickly. This is rotational force, rotating your body and your shoulders. Spring force is springing with your legs, with your feet, with your hamstrings, with your back, with your spine, and then with your shoulders and with your elbow, okay? So with spring force, Wing Chun punches, number one, the main difference is it's made in a shorter distance because your elbow is down, all right? Versus this way, horizontal. The elbow is down, so it's meant for a shorter distance, all right? And also, we're using spring force going in the upward direction, all right? So that's more of a Wing Chun punch. So I'm not really putting rotational power. As you can see, I'm using spring force. Okay? Another main difference is in the stance. You notice that my stance is weighted on the back leg instead of leaning forward. I'm kind of leaning backward a bit, maybe a little bit straight up. Okay? The reason I'm doing that is because I want to use the spring of my back leg to generate that force. Okay? And I want to be able to thrust my hip forward like that. If your hip is already forward, you can't thrust it forward more. Okay, so that's why in Wing Chun, one of the reasons you put the weight on the back leg is so that we can spring off from it and then use this hip check power, like in hockey. You do hip checks like that, right? So that's what you want to do. You want to use that hip power. Okay, so once again, the characteristic is weight on the back leg, and you're using a spring power. Your elbows are down. And the third thing is that your punch is a vertical fist instead of horizontal fist. vertical fist and horizontal fist. And is used in a shorter range. Okay? Okay, why shorter range? Because person doesn't have enough time to react to short range punches from here. Okay? Boxing, the guy can see it, they can slip, they can duck it, they can parry it. And once you get to here, the eyes do not, and the brain does not have enough time to react to it. Most of the time you see in boxing, people punch in this range, what do? They just clinch. They just clinch, right? Okay? Because they can't react to it, okay? So that's when in Wing Chun we do a lot of chi sao, do a lot of sensitivity, so we don't need to eyes. I just feel something and then I go punch, right? I feel a punch, feel something and I go punch. Boom, boom, okay? So that's where Wing Chun punches are better if you can train the sensitivity to them, okay? So, because without my eyes, I can punch, and I know where he is because I got his hands, so I know where his head is, okay? For example, right? I know where his head is because I'm closing my eyes because I can feel his hand, I know where his wrist is, I know where his head is. So I don't need to use my eyes to know where my target is, right? Because I can feel where the target is, right? So that's one advantage if you can train Wing Chun, not to use your eyes, basically just touch. And I know that's the outside of his arm, here's his elbow, so his head is there, I don't need to think, okay? If he's trying to hit me with this one, I know the energy is coming, I can feel it, I don't need to see it, right? And I know his head is there, okay? And I can feel his elbow, so I know where his hand is, I know where his balls are, right? Okay? So I don't need to look. And you're using the advantage of being in a close range to use your tactile sensitivity to take advantage of that. So you don't need to rely on your eyes. But you know what? It takes a lot of training. It takes a lot of sensitivity training. There's stuff that I can show you. You can do it at home, even without a partner to do this. A lot of people don't know how to do it, but I can show you how to do it. So just stay tuned to this channel. If you're interested in learning more, you want to learn Wing Chun, then go ahead and grab my free DVD. You just pay shipping. Just click a link on the bottom of the comments here, and a lot of people like it. So make sure you get that and grab that before we run out of copies. So we'll see you soon. Next video.